Hot.
Hot.
And not an understatement at the moment. It's a little hot out
That's
there.
not that bad.
It's sticky. But
Yeah.
shall we?
Absolutely.
Hello, everyone. It's again time for ShiftLess. And watching dogs bark, listening to them bark.
Mowers.
The world's coming to an end. There's probably going to be a train, a plane, maybe an automobile. But
You can only hear the train here in the winter.
no DJ Khaled, unfortunately.
Son of a bitch.
I had my fingers crossed.
Yeah,
I
same.
had my fingers crossed.
Same.
Is your mouse working?
None of my shit's working.
Were you away from it too long?
Maybe.
Or did you take it with you?
It was working before.
Okay.
No, I didn't take it with me. I didn't need it. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
We don't need Max or whatever it is.
Everything needs to be charged, I'm sure. My Mac says it's going to die if I don't plug it in. You know, these things are so needy.
What do you think you need your computer for?
I don't know. I'm behind on all things cycling.
Well, this isn't the time to get caught up.
Well, that's fair. Oh, there we go.
You should have been properly prepared. You didn't do all your research and get your notes ready and
No.
have 18 topics outlined for us to discuss or any of that.
No, I've been trying to assimilate back into civilized life.
No. Something happened in your world?
You know, I only talked about it 811 times.
I haven't heard the first word about it.
Yeah, we got back on Friday. Our trip did get cut short.
Well, and for those that aren't in the know, what was the trip?
Oh, San Juan Hut to Hut. We were supposed to go from Durango to Moab. The last 2 days got cut because of a wildfire in, I believe it was Deer Creek.
That's the Deer Creek fire. The Lee fire is a different fire.
Yeah, I believe so.
Good. I didn't want it to be named after me.
We did see the fire off in the distance, which was wild. But in retrospect, I it's hard to admit these things, but I was relieved that we were spared the last 2 days. Our first day was, dare I say, brutally hard.
Harder than you expected?
Harder than I let myself believe it was going to be.
I thought we knew it was going to be hard.
I knew it was going to be hard, but somehow I still lied to myself a little bit.
Okay.
It was 22 miles in almost 4,200 feet of elevation gain.
Austin told you it was going to be a hard day.
It was a really hard day. Yeah, I did a pre-ride the day before. I think it was like 13 and a half miles, and I did like 1,800 feet of climbing. Didn't feel like that much.
Okay.
Felt like, oh, this is okay. However, I did that in Durango. Durango sits at like, I don't know, 6,000
I'm about
feet.
to say, we figured 6,400 or
Yeah,
something like
6,500-ish. But our first day of hut to hut, we started at, I don't know, 10,190 feet. And we crested
that.
it.
12.
Yeah, 12.5. And then slept at 11.4. It was a great start to a trip.
That's actually the way to start it, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. If it was the last day, I would have been like, kill me now.
Oh, my God. Hold on.
Are you getting tore up?
I need it. Hand me another one of those damn mosquitoes, would you?
You mean dragonflies?
Oh, dragonflies, yeah. Thank you. I thought I was doing okay, but my legs are getting toe up.
Man, I need to get some more cinnamon leaf oil. But we camped. Well, we stayed in the hut at 11,400 the first night. The pros being that it was cool.
Sure.
Borderline cold. The cons being it was a little hard to breathe. Elevated heart rate, exhausted from the day. We got there and it was kind of a foregone conclusion that I was going to be the one cooking. We got there and I was like, hey guys, I got, uh,
Not feeling it.
my brain is not, you're going to have to give me a minute. And it took me a little bit, but I finally came up with something to cook and cooked and executed, and everybody was happy. But the sleep that night was pretty sparse.
Did all the beers get drunk that first night?
I think I had one beer that night. Yeah. All the other nights, it wasn't really as much of an issue.
Sure.
Especially when we got into lower territory. But
And I'm sorry, how many miles was day one again?
22.
Okay.
I think it was 22 and a half, and we did like 4,200 feet of climbing.
And
It was all Colorado Trail.
how many? And that was all Colorado Trail?
It was all single track. This was no gravel or anything. So on most days, there is the standard route, which is primarily gravel, and then there's the alternate route, which is as much single track as coincides with the route.
So when you
basically.
say gravel, is it like groomed forest road or double track, or y'all did all single track and you did
all of the above.
okay a mishmash?
Day 2, we thought it prudent to elect for gravel,
Understood.
standard route.
Let's go back to day one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's digest day one. How many hours did it take y'all on day one?
My moving time was 5.5 hours.
Total time?
No, moving
I understand.
time. Yeah,
Total time?
like 7.5 hours
Okay.
to go 22 miles.
Okay. 22 miles uphill at altitude.
It was something.
So how much of that day one going up the mountain would you consider hike-a-bike?
If it would have happened on day 3, a lot less.
Okay.
But day 1, I wasn't ready, and B, I was still thinking I need to save some matches. We got 4 more days of this. Altitude was definitely a factor, but there was also a lot of just stopping and looking around, just like,
Well,
oh my,
I should hope so.
so gorgeous, and the weather was amazing. It was. We were blessed with absolutely beautiful weather the entire time. Couldn't have asked for better weather, especially at the beginning of August. It could have been cooler, but we also could have got rained on the whole time.
Could have.
Yeah, 7.5 hours total time. I think we got to the cabin about 3:30, maybe. We started at around 8:30. Maybe it was 4 o'clock. I can't remember. But it was a tough day. The cabins were all identical, except for the last 2 didn't have a wood-fired stove in the middle of the floor plan, which kind of opened up more room for activities. But other than that, they were nearly identical.
Do we want to hear about the activities?
There weren't many. Most of the activities took place outside of the cabin. There was a picnic table at every one of them. They had like sling chairs. I don't know what you call them, where it's like a thin pad with some fiberglass reinforcement plates or poles, and then you snap them together at the back in the seat, and you just sit on the ground.
You just sit on the ground with
Yeah.
them, and your body weight
Yeah.
forms the chair.
Yeah. But for the most part, it was all canned food, dried pastas and stuff. Come on, Lucky, you can do it. My poor baby. Come on, buddy.
Socks getting in the way.
Yeah, I think those socks need to go. You mind giving him a hand?
Yeah, you keep talking about.
Oh,
There you
got
go.
it.
Good job, buddy.
That one sock is hanging off.
Good job, buddy.
But so day 1, I should have written this down, but you know what? I'll go to my Strava. How about that? My activities. Oh, okay. Look at that. Where is day 1?
So how many people were on the trip?
We started with 8.
Okay. Doesn't sound like you finished with 8.
And we finished with 7.
Okay.
Pretty good.
That's not a bad ratio.
We had one gentleman that first day just completely whipped the shit out of him. We didn't, and then He was coughing, had like raspy, like compulsive coughing all night. Woke up, was still just shook. The second day, we started with, I think, like a 6 mile downhill. And when we got to the bottom, it was 3 of us, and we were waiting on 5. And we waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. And about 45 minutes after waiting, I was like, what are we doing? But the option to climb back up the mountain was not really viable because we didn't know how far we were going to have to climb. And we still had, 22 more miles in front of us or whatever. They got him a ride from the top of the pass, basically. They had ridden down a little bit. We took a group picture, and they had ridden down a little bit and regrouped, and he realized that he left his pack at the top of the mountain. So he had to ride back up, and he said it almost killed him. Every time they got to the slightest rise, it was just too much. We suspect he had high altitude pulmonary edema.
It sounds like an altitude illness of some sort.
Yeah, it definitely was. A strong rider. But he ended up taking the standard route that I mentioned earlier that we could have taken on day one that was all gravel back to our origination, which was Purgatory. And he said he's glad that we didn't take that day one.
Was that?
Sorry, that was me. I need to put
that's
stuff
fine.
on Do Not Disturb. But so we were down to 7. And then day 2, let me see, day 2, moving time was much better.
Okay.
3 hours and 49 minutes.
Cakewalk.
28 and a half miles and only 3,274 feet of climbing.
And what was the total time on that day?
I don't know what total time was, but moving time was 3:49. It was, but that was all gravel. There was a couple of, I think we had 3 and 4 mile climbs that day.
But there was an alternate route that could have been more single track, or that was.
I think there was, and there wasn't much debate on that. We were like, no,
Sure.
no.
I mean, that's kind of the natural Flatlander day 2 approach there.
It was, thought it was going to be more of a reprieve than it was, but it wasn't. Especially after that long downhill, and we waited there. It ended up being right at an hour and a half before everybody came down, and the
stress of fighting single track, that actually takes a lot out of the equation for the impact of the day. But I mean, I get it. Yeah, I mean the elevation gain is still there regardless.
Yeah, but we went right across the street from where we had been sitting for an hour and a half and began a 3 or 4 mile climb. I will say the climbing there is a lot more measured. It's not real pitchy.
Compared to what?
Some of the stuff you encounter around here, like we didn't climb anything that's like hilltop, that's that steep.
Okay.
I think the highest I saw on my Garmin was 11%. And that was sparsed in with long climbs. There would be like one little piece that would be 11, and then it would be back to, 5%.
5 to 6 forever.
Yeah. So the 30 tooth on the front of the Chumba with the 52 tooth out back, it's pretty nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that takes us in a direction. So what was the final verdict on the bike?
It was flawless except for my rear tire. I had...
Oh, do tell.
I was plagued with flats.
Really?
Yeah.
And what tire was this?
It was a Mezcal. It was a brand new Mezcal. It was maybe 2 weeks old. 235 out back, 26 out front. Before we go any further, I don't think it was the tire's fault. I think it was the rider's fault. And that being said, if I could go back in time and make a slight change, I would have put a 2.6 on the rear as well.
Okay.
I think that would have...
It would have fit, too.
It would have fit, yeah. But I think it would have drastically improved my experience overall. I don't think it would have slowed me down in the least. And I think it would have prevented me from having the first issue I had. I believe it was day 3 when we elected to do the single track portion. It was all the days run together.
Sure.
But we did a section called Goat Creek Trail that was unbelievable. Probably the highlight of the whole trip for me.
How so?
It was about 3.5 miles of single track, 4 miles maybe, and we lost about 1,300 feet of elevation. So it was true single track in the middle of nowhere. There's no trailhead, no nothing. You're just on a gravel road, and there's a small sign that says Goat Creek Trail. And it was the most ripping,
just beautifully, naturally flowed
in the aspens and just
contour trail.
So fun.
That's the best stuff there is.
That being said, we stopped and ate a bite before we went in, and I realized my tire was a little low, and I was like, no big deal. And that was where all my problems started. I was following Josh Dean. We were ripping through, and this truly hidden rock. I think Josh told me later that when he went through, he kind of nudged it and it flew out onto the trail, but it was still under some brush and stuff. And when I hit it so square, I ended up snake-biting my tire. So I had a hole on the bead and a hole on the edge of the sidewall.
Did anyone pack an extra tire?
No.
I didn't think
so. I put bacon strips in it, hit it with a CO2, and then a pump, and then I continued to nurse it for the rest of the day. I can't remember. I ended up having another puncture. I think it was the same day. This one was in the tread. So by the time I got to the hut that night, Leonard, shut it. By the time I got to the hut that night, I had 3 bacon strips in my tire. Actually, one of them had worked its way out, I believe. Those were pulled and replaced with darts, Stan's darts, which I'm kind of a believer in now.
Okay.
Those things worked extremely well. I never had another problem with.
Good to hear, because that's what all my bikes are loaded with.
Yeah.
But I have yet to use one.
So on the sidewall, we only had 2 darts, and those were used in the bead area and the sidewall. And then the bacon strip was replaced in the tread area. More stands added to my tire because obviously I had lost a lot. And I didn't really have to mess with my tire again until day 5, where we were on a section. Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
So back to day 2, we climbed and climbed and climbed. Day 3, we were treated with...
Hold on, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Okay.
So day 2 had an end of the day. I understand it's the same hut as day 1, but...
No, it's a different hut every night.
Same amenities, same layout.
Yeah. Sorry.
And now you talked about mostly canned food and so forth, but what does that mean? Is that like tuna fish, SpaghettiOs? What are we talking about?
Man, you name it, they had it pretty much. There was canned corn, canned peas, canned beans, black beans, pinto beans, refried beans. There was canned chicken breast. There was canned roast beef. There was canned salmon. There was corned beef hash, bamboo shoots, water chestnuts. If it comes in a can, they had it.
They had it.
There was tomato paste. There was rotel. There was tomato sauce. There was diced tomatoes. There were pineapple in a can, pears in a can.
Green beans, corn, that kind of stuff.
Green beans. Literally, almost every canned item you can think of that's
so basically
logical.
They went to Sam's Club and bought cases of canned goods. And
it definitely seemed like everything was from Sam's Club. And then there was also tons of noodles, pasta noodles, ramen noodles, Thai rice noodles.
Dry noodles? Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
Egg noodles.
So for you to boil yourself.
Yes. And then there was dry cereals. There was all the stuff that doesn't really go bad. There was a bunch of dried fruit. Mangoes were my favorite.
Man, love me a
And
mango. Dry or
yeah,
real.
they had tart cherries and raisins, Scratch Labs, all the Scratch Lab stuff, powders, bars, chews, Gatorade powder, Country Time lemonade powder, peanut butter, jelly, breads, some fresh fruit and fresh vegetables, oranges, apples, lemons and limes, not so much, onions and garlic. I think that's about everything.
Plenty to get by on.
Yeah, and then we had 2 coolers in each cabin. One of them had our perishable stuff in it, which was pretty consistent. It was eggs, cheeses, typically 2 big blocks of Tillamook cheese, 2 different kinds. Most nights was sharp or mild cheddar. There was butter, half sticks of butter, bacon, tortillas, large format, flour tortillas, and small format, like taco styles, corn tortillas.
Nice.
I utilized those a lot. We made breakfast burritos most days. One day I made Chili's Killies. They had a wok. It was only a tiny little 2-burner. And so when you were using the wok, you couldn't do anything else. And then we had to boil water for coffee. Pour over was the only option there other than instant. So by the time we made 8 cups of coffee every morning, it was time for breakfast.
Sure.
We got up about 6:30 every morning, rolled about 8:30 every morning. We were in bed most nights. There was a couple of nights we were in bed before the sun even went down. Sleeping with earplugs is a weird thing. I slept with earplugs every night. Why is it that the guy that snores always falls asleep first?
Probably because they have the obstructed airway and they don't breathe as well and oxygenate as well, so it makes them more tired.
Yeah.
Speaking from personal experience.
Josh Dean that guy dies when he sleeps.
Well, he doesn't want to hear himself snore. Is that what you're saying?
No, he stops breathing.
Oh, okay. I follow.
He's got
So he's got an apnea issue.
He's got horrible sleep apnea.
This is not a medical show for anyone that's wondering.
Yeah. But let me see, where was I?
So we were at the overnight for day 3.
No.
Rolling, weren't we? Or was that day 2?
Day two.
Day 2. Going into the morning of day
Yeah.
3.
So day 3 we took off, and that day we actually had a lot of downhill, but we still gained 2,500 feet of elevation over the course of, what was it?
So make sure I understand what you mean by that. You had a lot of downhill, but 2,500 feet of elevation gain over the course of the entire trip, or?
No, 38 and a half miles on day 3. Longer day.
Okay. Total elevation for the day was 2,500?
2,500 feet.
Okay.
Over 38 miles.
Oh, okay.
And I think we lost, let me see if this track shows. No, my computer just died. I'll do it all by memory.
We'll fake it.
Yeah, but I think we lost 3,000 or 4,000 feet over the course of the day. That was the first day that we didn't sleep above 10,000, I believe. So that was a treat. But it started to warm up. Our third night.
That was the dragonfly.
Yeah. Our third night, it was a little warmer, but it was still okay. That was the day we went by, I can't remember the name of the reservoir, but we had lunch by the reservoir and got into the reservoir, which was amazing. Third day, crusty legs, getting in the really cold water and just up to the hips, just like a Control-Alt-Delete. It was kind of a nice reset for the legs.
How far into the day was that?
25 miles maybe.
Of
38.
38.
Yeah. And then we finished. It was fairly desert, but we were still at I want to say 7,000 feet that night.
Okay.
And then the next day, pretty tough day.
So you're basically coming down out of the mountains at this point for the whole trip, or you mentioned desert. So
Yeah, we did. Day 4, we also elected single track. I think there was 4 of us that went for the single track that day, and there was a lot of unknown, a lot of mining stuff, a lot of gas lease roads. There was a piece of single track that we did pretty early on that we literally had to find as we rode right by it. Garmin said, it's right here. We got about half a mile past it, and I was like, I didn't see anything. We went back, and you know how when people are looking for stuff, you're all spread out. And I found it, and I was like, this is it. And it just looked like a mule trail. It looked like something you'd see at Comfort or something. It's just all rock. And the only reason we knew it was it because it had stacked stones. You could see it just going up.
that's usually a good indicator.
Yeah. Rode a bunch of that. That was probably one of the more technical days, although every day was littered with tech, especially some of the downhills. I can't remember if it was that day or another day, but we had a lot of downhill pieces that were just unimproved road would be an improvement. It was shelfy, sand over rock, big, large pieces of exposed stone, baby heads, gravel pits. I mean, you name it.
Did you come across many other trail users while you're on the trip?
Only day 1. Only on the CT, on the Colorado Trail.
I was going to guess y'all probably had that all to yourselves.
Yeah. We were in the middle of nowhere.
Understood. The hikers usually can't make it that far.
Yeah. Saw as many hikers as we did bikers.
I would expect
on Colorado Trail.
I would have expected you would have seen more, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. But
Got passed by a hiker.
okay.
That's humbling. Day 4 was probably one of the harder days besides day 1. Yeah. We finished, and that was the best view we had the entire time. The landscape and the activities, and poor Lucky.
Mind if I pull those socks off?
Go for it. They Velcro at the top. There's a Velcro strap on the top of them. Day 4 was so warm. We were low that night. I think we were 5,400 feet, something like that. We were still above a mile above sea level. I can't remember exactly what our elevation was we camped at. But it was warm, so we stayed out the majority of the time because it was just too warm in the cabin.
Really?
Cabins had no circulation. It was all breeze created. And that was the one cabin that we had that had a sign on the door that said, keep the door closed to keep the snakes out. This was definitely rattlesnake area.
Yep.
Didn't see any snakes. I saw one snake the whole time, and it was a little bitty harmless snake that was dead on the road. The wildlife was a whole nother conversation. Well,
I'm all ears.
Saw a little bit of everything. We saw 3 bears total, all black bears. Saw tons and tons of, what do they call them? They look like chipmunks.
Marmots?
Marmots are bigger, right?
I'm not sure what
I saw marmots as well, but we saw these, they look like this big with the tail. They were like little ground squirrels or something like that.
Those aren't chipmunks?
Maybe they were chipmunks. I thought they called them something else.
Maybe. I know what you're talking about, though.
Saw quite a few mule deer. It was really cool because the mule deer were so calm, so like used to humans. You just ride right by them. I mean, multiple times if they would be like 10 feet away.
You're not going to do nothing to me.
Yeah. I saw some elk. Saw a bird. I cannot remember the name of that bird now. That was very cool. It was a tagamite, something like that. Thornton told me. I still can't remember.
Okay.
It's like a pheasant almost. It's a big ground bird.
Okay.
The one I saw was black. He said that the plumage changes white in the winter, but I still can't remember what it is. It starts with a T. Anyways, evening of day 4, we had the most beautiful bluff overlook. It had this like shelf rock, and there was a mine below us where the run out for the train tracks was, and the dump for the hopper and the scree slide. And we were above this canyon that, I don't know, we must have been a couple of 1,000 feet up from it, because the river that ran through it looked tiny. It looked like just a little straw. It was, every night was breathtaking, but this was, excuse me. Excuse me. This was, without a doubt, one of the prettiest views I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and pictures don't even do it justice.
No.
It was out of control. This is the river way down here. You see this canyon?
Yeah. And what river is that? Do you know?
The Dolores?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not familiar with that area at all.
I'm not going to lie to you. It was, every night, every place we stayed, you could have made a postcard just off the front porch taking a just random hip shot picture.
Yep.
It was awe-inspiring, to say the least. And then day 5 was a pretty fun ride. It was still super tough. And about maybe the pinnacle of the whole trip, like just the thing that I wasn't even ready for, was about 8 miles, 9 miles from the finish. We got to a piece that's all rock for the most part, just super ledgy, super exposed. We lost right at 1,000 feet in 1 mile. And it was sketchy to walk, in some places way more than others, to the point where you made a conscious effort to put your bike on this side, because that side
you were on the edge.
Yeah, 600 feet down.
Living on the edge.
And big, like, 2-foot drops where it was only 2 feet wide, and there's rock here and rock here. I mean, it was crazy.
Maybe just a slight penalty for failure. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But you could see where you were going, which was kind of cool, because we were like, oh, we're going to finish right there. And it seemed so much closer than it was. I ended up walking all of that, because about 2/3 of the way down, I'm running my brakes to help me from sliding down. And I guess that bacon strip that was in the tread of my tire, I guess I had my brake on and drug it, and it pulled the bacon strip out. So now I'm in the middle of the trail leaking, and I didn't have any more bacon strips. So I had to walk all the way to the bottom and then get help with getting my tire fixed.
I guess I'm not following. How did the brakes have something to do? Oh,
I was skidding my rear tire.
You skidded the tire and it pulled it out of the tread. Okay.
That's the only thing I can guess.
I follow. I was just trying to put those pieces together. Sorry.
So plugged it again, and we were at the very base at that point. So we were at our lowest point for the day, and we still had like a 4-mile climb out of there, very gradual. But we stopped at the Bedrock General Store because we had hopes of maybe getting some ice cream or something there. That place has been shut down for years. It was for sale. It was just run down. But they did have a big front porch, and we sat there for, I don't know. We were way early. Our pickup wasn't until 4 o'clock. And at that point, I think we might have been 5 miles from the finish. And it was 1 o'clock, maybe. So we were sitting there trying to, just kind of relishing in the fact that we were all but done. This vehicle pulls up and guy gets out, and the first words out of my mouth are, "You got a cold beer?" And the wife jumps out and she goes, "We might," and opens up an ice chest and she goes, "Well, good news, bad news, no beer, but I do have ice cold White Claws." And I was like, I would not turn it down. It was the first truly ice cold beverage I'd had in 6 days, probably 5 days. A lemon White Claw. Never thought it would be so delicious. It was delicious. That's what I forgot to say. In the cabins, both of the ice chests, they had a foam board that went around the inside of the ice chest, and then they had frozen ice blocks, like the reusable blue-looking ones. So everything was cold. It just wasn't cold. So even the beers we had were...
Episode 115 brought to you by White Claw.
So there was Cokes in there and there was beers in there, but there was all kinds of random weird beers like grapefruit lagers, and there was a lot of Avery stuff, some Stone. I can't remember what other breweries you might know. There was some Surly, which I didn't even know Surly was a thing. There was some ska beers.
When I'm in Colorado, ska's all that matters.
Yeah. The puzzling thing was, though, and I still have a little bit of PTSD from this.
Okay.
Every beer you opened was a geyser.
Ah.
It didn't matter. You could tap the side. You could do whatever you wanted. But there was, and the 16-ounce cans were the worst for whatever reason. You would start with a 16-ounce can, and you might get 10 ounces out of it. Because it was just, you'd open it, you try to open it slow, and it just...
Well, it's
probably the elevation.
Definitely the elevation.
Yeah.
But I was, thinking about it backwards.
But everybody would forget, and they would...
Or is the pressure pulling the can in?
Maybe.
Maybe the pressure's pulling that super thin aluminum they all use on everything these days.
I don't know, but inherently you would forget, and you would open your next beer right above your lap inside, and you'd be like, There's no sink in the cabins.
Sure.
It was quite, like, even last night after TNSS, I went to open a beer, and I went like this, and it did nothing, and I was like, oh. So we finished off our White Claws and got back on our bike, and the wind started to pick up. And unfortunately, we rode dead into the wind for the majority of the ride after that. And it was just wide open gravel with a slight incline the whole time. Finished it in Paradox at the, whatever it is, the Paradox General Store. It just says Paradox on the front. Yeah. And it's not even, it's open by appointment. And
I think it's this Paradox store. I think is what it is. But.
And the owner shows up shortly after we got there. Our buddy Breg from Houston, they had staged their vehicle there so they didn't have to shuttle back to Durango. We had already made arrangements for a shuttle. Like I said, our shuttle was going to pick us up at 4. We sat there. The owner of the store, his name was also Greg, showed up and chatted with us, just told us, we were asking about the history of the town, how long he'd been there, and did he have anything for sale that was cold in the store? Disappointingly, no. Then he went on to tell us that we could have made arrangements to have Klondike bars, and he went on about all the stuff that we could have had if we'd have just let him know. And I was like, I did not know that. But he did turn on his shower for us. He had an outdoor shower. That was glorious.
Sure.
It was cold.
But it was wet.
Yeah. So we all took a shower, and interestingly enough, AT&T did not work there, but Verizon did. We realized that we had another 3 miles from the Paradox store to the Paradox Inn, which is where we were supposed to get picked up, which was close to the final hut. So it was about, 3 o'clock or something, and we were all like I don't want to get back on my bike, especially after a shower and after beers. And so Josh started reaching out to our shuttle driver and see if he could pick us up at the Paradox store or whatever. He ended up dead. He picked us up about 3:45 and drove us back to Durango. Probably one of the worst drivers I've ever encountered. This guy, if he was not stoned out of his gourd, he might have been missing something in his brain because he was an awful driver.
In what ways? Because that's a pretty broad spectrum.
So it got to the point where I go, hey, Brett, do you drive this often? He goes, oh, no, only like once or twice a year. And I go, oh, so you're not familiar with the route. I go, because you seem really timid. He was driving super slow, braking way early, downshifting into like ungodly low gears. Like we would be doing 60 and he would shift down into like second gear and just, yeah, I mean, I thought the transmission was going to fall out of the bottom of the truck.
And what kind of truck was this?
Dodge something. I don't know.
I mean, like a 3/4 ton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was excruciating, but we made it, and we made it safely. We got back to Durango, or Paradox, scooped up our guy that I forgot to mention. When he parted ways with us, the keys to the vehicle that all of his stuff was in were with us. So he had no clothes. He didn't have his wallet. I don't know why he didn't bring his wallet or anything with him. He operates on Apple Pay a lot of times.
Ooh.
So he didn't have his wallet. He didn't have any real shoes. He didn't have, I don't think, underwear. So when we got back to pick him up, he goes, well, luckily the store, whatever the souvenir place that's on the resort, took Apple Pay. So he's wearing a Purgatory t-shirt, a Purgatory hat. And he had booked himself a room. He had ridden a couple of days. He had started feeling better, did not go to the doctor. And so we sat around with him in his room for, I don't know, a little bit and grabbed a beer there. And at that point, it was probably, I don't know, we got picked up at 3:45. It took us at least until 7 o'clock to get back to him. We sat around for 20, 30 minutes, and then we're like, hey, man, if we're going to get something to eat, Durango kind of closes up early. So our plan, we already had reservations in Durango. So we rolled down the mountain to Durango. It's about a 25-minute drive, 25-minute drive. We get into town, we take a proper shower, and then we go out to get something to eat. And the plan was to ride Phil's World the next day on Friday. The Houston crew was going to wake up super early and ride Phil's World. Josh met them and rode with them. Our driver did not want to ride Phil's World, didn't really even want to drive or ride. So we rolled out, I don't know, about 9:30 or 10 o'clock the next morning and drove all the way home. I got home at 12:30 in the morning on
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, yeah.
Okay.
I will tell you, our driver drove the whole way there and the whole way back, which was pretty impressive. Tried to ride on Sunday. I had no gas in the tank. I felt absolutely destroyed.
I was kind of thrown off when you were calling for a ramble on Saturday afternoon.
I wanted to ride.
I understand. I
wanted to have a less pressured ride. There was a very cool thing about the whole hut-to-hut thing is there was no bargaining.
There's no flexibility.
No.
You got to stick to the plan.
Yeah, it was.
That's the one part that would frustrate the hell out of me, to be honest with you.
I really liked it because there was never like, other than picking which route you wanted to go,
right.
and there was much deliberation amongst the group. Like a lot of times these guys were like, I don't want to ride any single track. I want to ride gravel. It's going to be a lot easier. That's not easier. It's not even more fun. But other than that, it was, we got to wake up, we got to eat, we got to clean the cabin. You got to wipe down mats, you got to sweep, you got to wash all the dishes, you got to lock everything up, shut all the windows. You got to lock up the shitter and various things. But it was every day you wake up, you know you've got to get on the bike and you've got to make it to there. So there was that was a foregone conclusion every morning when you woke up, which was, I thought was cool. Because it wasn't like, I'm just going to hang out today. I'm not going to ride. You were doing it. I actually enjoyed that aspect. But like I said, we were blessed with perfect weather. The last day, when we got picked up in Paradox, the guy's truck said 99 degrees. And when we made it back to Purgatory, it was 83 degrees. So, big difference just in the elevation. But it was absolutely beautiful. It was definitely harder than I anticipated. Like I said, somewhat relieved that we didn't go all the way to Moab, because day 6, I can't remember the exact mileage, but I think we were supposed to gain like 4,400 feet on day 6. Day 6 was going to be another death march akin to day 1, but I believe was like almost twice the mileage. I think it was going to be in the 35 to 38 mile range with 44, maybe more feet of climbing. And the only reason I was interested in doing that is day 7 was going to be 44 miles and lose over 8,000 feet.
Right.
It was all downhill, but a lot of tech. It wasn't just going to be super flowy, but it was going to be hot. And water management was going to be an issue. Believe it or not, I think the first day was the only day that I subsidized my water. I took water straight out of a creek. And I think I ended up drinking it, but it was mostly at the cabin when I finished up. My water plan worked out every day. I carried 3 liters on my back, and I put roughly 2 tablespoons of sea salt in it, just so I was getting extra salt. And then I had 2 large bottles with 2 scoops of Tailwind in it every day. That was my go-to. And I tried to make that last the whole ride in conjunction with my Tailwind, or my water backpack, whatever you call it, bladder. And we carried a sandwich every day, and the other thing I carried every day was a Coke, except for the first day. Put a Coke in my Useway. And then one day, I think it was day 3 or day 4, we knew we were going to be struggling for water. And so I put a LaCroix in my Useway as well as a Coke.
Did those explode on you when you opened them?
Mm-mm.
Just the beers. Interesting.
And that LaCroix was hotter than bath water when I went to drink it, but it was still wet. And then various snacks. I carried nuts every day, dates, and dried fruit, mangoes, tart cherries. And the last 2 days I did a burrito roll, flour tortilla, peanut butter across the whole thing, drizzle of honey and raisins, and then rolled it like a jelly roll, cut it in half and wrapped it in paper towels and stuck it in a Ziploc bag. Worked out really well. I carried a bunch of meat sticks, never ate any of them. I don't know why. But I would do that trip again, but I would like to do the Telluride to Durango. I think that's the way it goes.
Oh, there's another leg?
There's another version of it, run by the same people. Maybe it's Telluride to Moab? I can't remember. I don't know. But I hear it's 25% easier, which still means it's hard.
It's hard. Now,
Yeah.
you talked about your tire issues.
Mm-hmm.
Any other mechanicals amongst the group during the trip?
I'm trying to think. I don't think anybody.
Okay. Well, I about to say, if you're having to think that hard, nothing.
Yeah. I did wreck on the goat trail that I told you about that was so awesome. There was a lot of blind curves. We were hauling ass, and we traded leads a couple of times because we would miss. The trail would go cold, and then you'd have to look, oh, there it is, and we'd carry on, and it would open back up and just be flowy. I was in the lead, came across an aspen tree that was 10 inches in diameter and may have been 3 or 4 inches off the ground, completely horizontal, no limbs, nothing. I hopped shit like that all the time. And when I say hop it, I don't mean clear it. The way I typically do it is I slow to where my speed matches my effort or my speed matches my capabilities.
Your ability, yeah.
Yeah, and what I'll do is I'll set my front tire on it, and as soon as my front tire's on it, I'll pick my back tire up and put it on it and roll. I didn't even think anything of it because I do it all the time. Even when I was getting ready for this trip, riding with the exact loadout I had on my bike, I hopped trees bigger than that. So it wasn't even a consideration. Somehow I misjudged and I went to put my front tire on there and came up short. And my momentum carried me forward. I endoed. My bike went behind me and I slammed gut first onto the tree and bruised my pubic bone bad. I mean, it hurt. Took the breath out of me and everything. Sat there for a little bit and recovered. And that and my tire were probably, I don't even think anybody wrecked, really, other than me.
That you saw, or were y'all all pretty much together the whole time? Or how did that work?
Definitely not. We got spread out. We typically, it kind of grouped into like 3 different groups. We had 2 guys that were bringing up the rear, but they were never far behind us. We kind of had 2 guys on the front and then kind of the middle pack. And at any given point, most times, there may have been 30 minutes between the front and the back. It did get more spread out or more compact, but it was a lot of fun, but very hard. Like I said, I can't imagine living there and riding that stuff all the time, how strong you would be. I just for giggles, I pulled up some of the climbs that we did and looked at some of the times.
Have you never listened to Payson McKelvin talking about how strong Durango area makes you?
Yeah, it's without a doubt, those guys are different animals up there. They breathe with different lungs and they operate on different legs. It's pretty remarkable.
Now, I'm not asking you to speak on behalf of others, but generally speaking, was the whole group happy with the experience?
Oh, yeah.
Met everyone's or surpassed everyone's expectations?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have the camaraderie without the effort, but the gathering every night at the hut and the views were worth everything. And there were so many glorious pieces of riding where you'd be riding just on a gravel road, just climbing, and the whole time it's just picturesque everywhere you look. Mountain ranges in the back, and we saw every sunrise and almost every sunset, and it was just gorgeous. I just can't even explain how pretty everything was.
We're not in Texas anymore.
Definitely not in Texas. It was everything I hoped it could be. So
excellent.
And then San Juan Hut to Hut gave us 2 options. I don't think I got to talk to you about this, but they said that initially we could continue on, but they had to go and pull the ice chests out of the cabins for whatever reason. Just the ice chests. So we would still have access to the huts if we wanted to do the last 2 days. And I think they were going to give us a 50% discount on the last 2 days, or we could elect not to go and they would give us a full refund for the last 2 days. So that's what we ended up doing. That was kind of cool of them to give us a full refund.
So I don't think we talked about it at all on the show here anyway, but the trip was cut short because of The fires.
Yeah, we talked about it at the very beginning.
Well, we talked about it from the perspective that we both knew there were fires out there, but that's what cut your trip short. But what you're saying is it could, hypothetically, you still could have proceeded.
Yeah, but we didn't want to. We didn't find out until we got picked up in Paradox that the fire just the day before had been handed over to the locals. Basically, the municipalities went, all right, we've got it contained. You guys just need to keep an eye on it.
Okay. So I guess that's what, we never got into the detail of what the fire did, where, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't really know all the details. I just know that we were going to have to go north of it. I think we were going to have to do a reroute.
So it would have been a reroute still?
I think. Okay. I'm not entirely certain.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask about, because, you guys had talked about the potential, for lack of a better term, issues with their files and not working with Ride with GPS and stuff.
Flawless.
And all that worked fine.
Once I ran it through Garmin Basecamp, it extracted the exact files. Day one standard route, day one alternate route. Day one standard route, day one alternate route.
What about the people that were using non-Garmin?
They were fine too. That was the other thing, is our guy that bailed on day 2. We got to the top of the mountain. We got shuttled from Purgatory to Molis Pass. Is it Molis Pass or Bolam Pass? I get them confused. I think it's Molis Pass. And we're almost there, and he's in the shuttle, and he's like, I don't have my freaking head unit. So he was just raw dogging everything. He didn't have, this is a guy that rides with power and heart rate, and obviously he needed the route too.
Sure.
So he was kind of effed, and I think that was a big...
Did that get into his head some?
Oh, without a doubt. But I don't think that was the cause of his issues. I think that was purely a physicality thing.
But the mental stuff can lead to anxiety, which can become physical.
For sure. But make no mistake, day one was absolutely grueling.
Understood.
The silver lining to us getting back Friday morning, Saturday morning, whatever. Saturday, my wife cooked me breakfast, which was awesome. It was the first day I didn't have to cook breakfast. And I got to watch the Lifetime Grand Prix Leadville.
Okay.
They streamed it live.
Okay.
It was pretty cool to see it streamed live. This is the first year they're doing live streaming, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they attempted it a couple years. This is
Yeah.
the first year they're doing it successfully.
But really the only reason to watch it was for the battle between second and third place in the women's race. Yeah.
There was lots of interesting stuff that came of that one, don't you think?
Yeah.
Is this a segue?
Yeah, I was so pulling for Lauren Stevens. It looked like she kind of got cracked at the end by Melissa Rawlings.
I think there was a lot of home field advantage there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And they alluded to it. They said that Melissa had beat Kate Courtney in the stage race. And that was where she made her move on Lauren Stevens, was exactly where she made her move on Kate Courtney.
It's where she blew apart the field last year when she won.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely some home court advantage. But Lauren Stevens looks super strong. It was interesting because her and Kate Courtney were both on flat bars, and they're both not Lifetime Grand Prix employees or athletes. Yeah. So it was interesting. No real surprise with Keegan just absolutely destroying the field and winning by I think 15 minutes or something. But it was cool. It was cool to see. I know a lot of people that were in that race. I didn't get to see any of them in the coverage. I was hoping to catch a glimpse of somebody, when they do the road sections and they're passing each other, coming and going. But I didn't get to see anybody that I knew. But it looked like they had a great race this year.
So what are your thoughts on the controversy?
What's the controversy?
Oh, you're not aware?
No.
Oh, shit.
I watched it, turned it off.
Lauren got disqualified.
For?
Aid outside of an approved aid station. I assumed you knew this.
Didn't know any of that. So walk me through that.
I don't know all of the details yet.
Okay.
So
at the beginning, let's
step back for any listeners that may not be aware of this. So, wow. Okay. This shows that we don't have show notes, folks.
Yeah.
And we don't prepare for this. The way you segued like that, I assumed we were going into natural controversy talk.
I don't always just flock to controversy.
I understand.
Let me get my coffee ready.
you might be getting ready to swing your wings. So Lauren Stevens, friend of the show,
Local badass.
local extremely badass, she podiumed for Leadville, third place, but was disqualified before the podium ceremonies. And the reason for the disqualification was taking aid from outside of the designated aid areas. I don't know all of the details and the whys and the where. I'm pretty up to speed on most of it, but
Oop, sorry, that was me.
is that
Who?
is that one? No, that's not.
No, it was hitting up.
Okay.
So who provided the aid?
Crew. I'm assuming it was Matt, but I don't know that for certain. But let us also put let me put a couple pieces into place before we dive too deep into it.
Okay.
Lauren accepted, for lack of a better term, the disqualification. I'm not saying she specifically agreed with it. I'm not saying she disagreed. She didn't go, "Oh, that's unfair," or anything like that. But she explained herself, and quite frankly, when I first heard about it was Saturday night at the Midnight Massacre. I was hoping Caleb would be here because I'm pretty sure he was there when we found out about it and we're talking about it. And as a result of one of our conversations with Mr. Justin Carey, I can't remember which episode it was, but I think I distinctly remember us having a conversation about the aid station situation and how does that work at Leadville, and him kind of walking us through it. And when he laid it out, I was like, that gets kind of confusing. So some aid stations are for the pros and others are just for the amateurs. How do you know which is which? And he said something at that time, well, yeah, now that you mention it, maybe technically I broke the rules or something like, or other people were breaking, blah, 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 blah. So when it first came up Saturday night at 1:00 in the morning when we were finishing up the Midnight Massacre, my first gut reaction was, I bet they used one of the amateur aid stations and got confused. And ultimately that was what the issue ended up being. I don't know, again, all the whys and the wherefores.
Did you watch the coverage?
After I found out about that, I went through it very specifically trying to figure out what may have happened when and broke it down from my perspective.
Yeah, because obviously they didn't have cameras in the amateur aid stations.
They're not the one that mattered.
Yeah.
I think there was another one that was kind of I
asked if you watched it because of one specific thing that I'm remembering now that you bring that up. When she was chasing Kate Courtney.
And they went through the 1H station.
They went through the 1H station. She missed 2 bottles. I couldn't tell if she missed them or she swatted them away. It looked like the second one she kind of swatted away.
Third one, she missed 2, and then the third guy put one out, and she was like, "F it, I'm not dealing with it."
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get to talk to her about it.
That would be cool. That would be very cool.
I mean, the reality, and this is nothing against Lauren. The reality is we would probably never get that unfiltered conversation we would really appreciate. That's nothing against those high level racers. That's just the world they have to operate in.
Yeah. I mean,
but the details around that I am fascinated by.
It sucks to go out there and do that much effort and then get the rug pulled on you for such a minor infraction. If she had done it maliciously or to gain a tactical advantage,
and these are the details of it. I'm not trying to defend her, and I'm not trying to excuse her, and I'm not trying to, it's like I would like an actual perspective on what actually did happen.
Yeah.
For example, that hand up area that we're talking about where we saw she missed the 2 bottles. My first question is that her crew hand up, or is it a designated feed zone and
there's bottles for everybody?
Or it's lifetime employees that are doing the hand ups there. I think
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It didn't look like people she was familiar with, if that makes any sense.
Well, she had, I
and
did notice
everybody had the same
black bottle.
black bottles from the feed.
Yeah. I don't know, because and I'm just going on some assumptions here, but if you're that level athlete, you care what's in your bottle. You're trying to fuel for your performance.
Again, these are the questions that I have myself. I don't know the answers to that, but so we're going down a bunch of rabbit holes here that I'm more than happy to go down, to be honest with you. But
because at one point she was like 2 minutes back from Kate Courtney, and after that debacle, the three bottles missed. And I was really obviously pulling for her. I wanted her to reel her in and at least make it a battle. And then she was nursing that one bottle, and I have no clue how much was in there. And I noticed she started to kind of have a different body language. And I was like, man, she's kind of...
I think it was a conservation mode is what it was.
Yeah.
And
then when Melissa caught her, I was like, cool, they're going to work together.
And they did.
But Kate Courtney was still making time on them, still gapping them. And I think that was the point, like, Paula was casually sitting on the couch, not even paying attention. And I was just like, I love this style of racing where there's no radios. Kate has no clue where they are. They have no clue how far back they are from Kate Courtney. I'm sure they had some inkling.
The motos were given, and that I'm going to touch on that in a moment too.
Go for it.
Well, the kind of along the lines of what you're talking about, there's a bunch of variables in this. Let's say what she did completely break the rules. I guess it's fair to say that is the case now.
Well, that's the perception, at least.
Well, it was a rule.
Yeah,
there was a rule. No
letter of the law. She broke it.
She broke the rule. Then the question starts to come: did her breaking the rule actually gain her an advantage? And then there's two parts to that.
Or did she break it intentionally? That's the bigger question from my mind.
Both are pieces of this.
Yeah.
If it was a prescribed cheat, let's say, that, I'm going to do it this way so that I don't have to.
Interruption real quick. I asked you, did you watch it? Because I wanted to ask you about the 3 missed bottles. Because I wanted to know, did this infraction happen before or after that?
That's what I'm still not sure of.
Yeah.
And it could go either way.
Obviously.
A story I read last night clarifies it, but I haven't had a chance to look at the
logistics,
the course layout to say where I know where, at least I think it was Cycling News, which aid station specifically it happened at. But whether that was before or after the missed bottles, I still don't know. Particularly if it was before the missed bottles, it ultimately had no impact on the race. If it happened after, hypothetically, you could say, yes, it did have an impact.
Yeah.
It was a 500 ml small bottle that she got at that hand-up station. I'm currently working on the assumption that it was an aid station that Matt was at with that bottle because she missed at the other.
Yeah.
That's an assumption.
Yeah.
I don't know that for certain.
God, his mullet's looking glorious. Did you see him post-race?
No.
When he came out to kiss her?
No, I missed that part.
Oh, dude, I was like, oh my gosh, you glorious bastard.
So here's the nuts and the bolts of it. Regardless of, I think we can all say there was no intention to cheat.
That's my hope.
I think that's a pretty
Yeah.
fair statement. It's one of two things. It's either she had the hand up at an aid station that she wasn't supposed to before missing the bottles, and ultimately, does that really affect? Oh, okay, I opted to grab a bottle at mile 10 instead of mile 14.
Yeah,
that's a dealer's call. Was it outside the rules because she was supposed to do it in a very? Okay.
I mean, I get they have to draw a line in the sand and they have to adhere to it. Otherwise, it's just wide open.
I'm not disagreeing. What I'm saying is, if that were the case, if it were she got it before the issue of missing bottles, ultimately it doesn't really affect the race though in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
There's no way it affects the race outside of she just didn't grab a bottle exactly where she was supposed to. If it happened afterwards, after she missed the bottles, then yes, you could say if she hadn't have had the refuel or the small bottle outside the station, she may not have been able to hold her position and she would have completely bonked out. And all the others
like
that were
6th or 7th,
all those that were 6 minutes behind her may have caught her.
Yeah.
But we don't know that they would have.
But it could have been the fact that she got a bottle right before the aid station where we saw her miss 3 bottles, and maybe she just intentionally missed 3 bottles because she already had a full bottle.
Maybe we don't, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
without all,
I need more deets.
We need more
it's crazy.
details.
I didn't even hear about that.
We need more details. Ultimately, though, here's where things do come into play. And
what was the prize for 3rd place?
That I have no idea. I
mean, was it 1,000? Was it?
I think it was probably at least 1,000, if not more. But I don't know that for sure.
How stoked was 4th place when they figured out?
I don't. Okay, then that's kind of where I'm going at the moment. I don't know that they were though, because now
nobody wants to win like that.
Evidently, somebody does, because that doesn't come into play unless there's a protest lodged. So
that was my initial thought too. Is did someone lodge a protest, or did they have enough people?
No, it was
on course.
Just speaking from promoter experience and official experience, USA Cycling. Granted, Lifetime is not USA Cycling, but this is the way this realm works.
Yeah,
it has to be a participant that protests before it's investigated. Generally speaking, I mean there will be exceptions to that, and I'm very confident the protest was lodged by one person.
You don't think it could have been one of the motorcyclists that was following on course? That seemed very precarious at numerous times.
Oh, well, so that's all. Maybe we'll save that discussion for next week. The reality is that whole event was a shit show.
Yeah, I saw where the guy that finished 2nd hit a photographer. Was it 2nd place finisher or 3rd place finisher?
It was one of the podium finishers. There were
not Keegan.
There were several almost head-ons with the elites and non-elites, and there was tons of overlap.
Yeah,
the women's elite with the juniors and the amateurs and everything else. And then the motorcycles and the vehicles got in the way several times and had an impact on the event. It was, and I'm not going to pull any punches. That was a shit show.
Yeah.
For that level of supposedly premier event, it wasn't ultimate. If Spinistry were putting on that, okay, we're grassroots. That's one thing. That, for that level of racing, was an absolute and utter shit show.
What's an entrance fee for Leadville?
Hundreds of dollars. I
mean, is it 2? Is it 3?
I think it's 5 or 6.
Oh.
Or maybe even more than that at this point. But I'm not positive. Don't hold me to that.
Yeah, I have no clue.
And, well, that's another piece of the equation. Back in the day when Leadville got its cred, wasn't it limited to like 200 people or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was a much smaller field.
It was very hard to get in.
Well, that was before Lifetime stepped in and commercialized racing.
Trust me, I know. Again,
the spirit of gravel is dead, bro. Yeah, that's unfortunate. My heart goes out to Lauren because that was a hell of an effort, hell of a race, and I want more details before I even begin to think that Lauren was in the wrong. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt.
I'm going to say she was in the wrong by technically breaking the rules. I won't disagree with that. But
was it intentional and malicious? That's what I want to know. And I get that they have, like I said, I know they have to draw a line in the sand. I know they have to go, it's black, it's white, because otherwise they can't have an investigation on everybody.
But there's another piece to it as well. And this is where I may actually cut Lifetime slack on the situation if the way I understand it does prove to hold true. And I'm at this point, I don't have any reason to disagree with it. What I've seen is they're in their elite Bible, for lack of a better term. I think they have the elite rule book for each event. And it is definitely prescribed in there that outside hand-ups from the approved feed zone for the elites is an offense, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
The second half of it is, what I understand, what I read is, which does result in disqualification. And that was the other piece of the equation that I was wondering about. It's like, okay, so if the protest was lodged and Lauren owned up to it, she did admit, yeah, I did that. I didn't realize that was an issue. If it was an open consequence, again, back to my referee days, if it's not stated that's a disqualification, then you look at the sum of all the parts and say, how much did that really impact the race, and make the call. But if it was laid out very specifically in the Bible of that results in a disqualification, then they had no choice but to disqualify her at that point. Realistically, from my experience, something like that usually would be at most a relegation. You lose a spot for that, or something like that, or you lose 5 spots, or something to that effect. She probably would have been off the podium regardless in Kevin world if the protest were lodged. But if the rule book specifically says if you do this, it's a disqualification, then that's pretty black and white. So I'm not going to disagree with that.
So I decided to just look it up.
I assumed you did.
Yeah.
But not on your computer, which is not working.
Right. My crew fed me a 500 milliliter bottle at Carter Summit Aid Station. So that was 12 miles from the finish. So that was after she missed the 3 bottles.
Okay, so that was what I hadn't clarified. Yeah.
So
I knew it was Carter Summit Aid Station, but I didn't know where that.
She said, now that I reread, I don't know, Elite Tech Guide, I see crew is only allowed at crew locations, which doesn't include Carter Summit Aid Station, Stevens explained to Cycling News on Sunday. Lifetime asked me if I did this, and I told them the truth. I misunderstood the rules and thought it was okay. Of course, I would never break a rule intentionally. I have apologized to Lifetime and to those competitors that I have had communication with. I'm not proud of my mistake, but I am proud of my performance. That's a very poignant statement.
I'm extremely proud of her performance. There's no doubt about it.
During the live streaming of the race, Stevens was seen missing 3 different water bottle handoffs as she passed through one crew area, having descended Columbine and headed to Powerline. She was almost 3 minutes behind Courtney in second place and holding off Rollins, who had her in her sights. You know, I was a little disappointed, but I still had a little bit left in the bottle I had, and I carried some extra gels for the calories. So I don't think it really played into the day, she said at the finish about the missed bottles. After handoff miscues, pop-up ad, Rollins closed back to catch and ride with Stevens in the chase, the duo barreling down the long power section headed to the return climb of Powerline. That steeper side on the way back of 4 miles averaging 10% was an opportunity for Stevens, who hoped Courtney would tire. Yeah, for sure we were working together, and, you know, I just told her that we wanted to keep it steady, and Powerline was going to be the time where we could see if we could bring her back. So we just wanted to keep it steady and see how close we could have it coming into Powerline. Stevens said of the grinding ascent where she put in a gap to the defending champion. It goes on for a while, but there are 7 opportunities for participants to rehydrate and restock nutrition at designated aid stations on the 104-mile course. 3 of those spots, the same on the out and back route. Riders could also provide their own support or crew at 4 designated areas on the course at Outward Bound, Twin Lakes, and 2 alternative locations, noting they would pass each area twice on the course. A special note was posted on the event website to warn crewing outside of these 4 locations is against official race rules and will result in disqualification of your rider. Stevens admitted confusion and said of her preparation that next time I'll include studying the rule book.
Still proud of the performance. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
She's a baddie.
And like I said, I wasn't trying to stretch for oh, she didn't do anything wrong. I think it's obvious by the letter of the law.
Yeah.
She broke a rule.
Yeah.
What are the ramifications thereof, and what institutes those ramifications?
I hate that for her.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
But
most assuredly a lesson learned on her end. But it does touch on that's a big part of it, though, is again, we're back to I feel like it's deja vu all over again. The niche upon niche upon niche nature of this stuff we're into is even the highest level of gravel races. I guess technically this was a mountain bike race, very loosely technically. It's the reality is that even at the highest level of racers, it's still a bunch of part-time people that don't have the support of a Tour de France crew or a NASCAR pit crew or realistically even the support of a higher level travel team for basketball or baseball or something like that. It's not equal footing.
My curiosity is just spiraling now because I'm wondering, A, who lodged the complaint, and if it was the fourth place person.
I don't believe it was the fourth place person,
but follow me for a second. Did they honestly believe that they would have beaten her if she didn't have an extra 500 milliliters of water? That's where my thought process goes.
I am very confident the person that lodged the protest had no doubt that it was the only way for her to pick up that position.
Did it put her into the top 10?
I'm not going to go that deep on air.
Okay. We're still with you, Lauren.
1,000%. No doubt about it.
I can't believe I didn't even know that. I literally watched the race. I didn't even watch the podium. I saw when Matt came out to congratulate her and stuff, like still on the finish line. She's still like straddling the bike, and I turned it off.
Understood.
And went about my day.
Understood.
And thought for about 37 seconds, oh, Midnight Mash is tonight. Maybe I could go do that. And then I went, nope. I was freaking exhausted. Thus, I tried to ride Sunday, and it was almost a death march. So it was a good idea I didn't show up for Midnight Mash. I would have been dead weight.
It was probably and that's happened before.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I said no inside jokes allowed on this show. So what are you going to do with yourself later today?
Man, I'm batching it until Monday, but I do have a bunch of stuff. Hey, do you know a refrigeration guy by chance?
I do not.
My garage refrigerator my dream refrigerator is giving me nightmares.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm afraid I've done all the troubleshooting my skills will allow me to do. But it's cycling properly. I think it's low on gas, but it's a non-ported system, so I'm going to have somebody install access ports so they can hook up gauges to it.
You're just talking Greek to me at the moment.
Well, either way, I need some help. But so I got to get that figured out. And then I'm planning on riding my bike plenty while my wife is out of town, but I also have other stuff to do too.
Any dinners coming up soon?
Yeah, I have a private dinner on the 20th, and I have a public seating on the 23rd and a public seating on the 30th. And both of those are filling up quickly. How about that weather yesterday? Did you get outside yesterday? Did you ride yesterday?
No, I haven't ridden in quite a while.
Well, what's the matter with you?
Long story.
This is a long format podcast.
No, it's time. It's time to wind it down.
Okay. I do plan on riding. I'm still recovering, but had no intentions of riding hard last night at North Shore. Got there and was just going to ride on east side, still on the Chumba, still with the 30 tooth up front. We took off and I just held the pace kind of steady. I was feeling good, so I decided to just see how far I could push it. And dropped almost everybody, and when we got to that big climb, I thought I was going to make it, and I fumbled it. Looked back, and there's nobody behind me, and then I see Andrew at the top of the hill. He had taken the bypass, and I was completely dismantled after trying to grunt up that climb in the wrong gear, and got on his wheel, and he continued to push the pace all the way back to Mad Shelter. And I thought we were easily under an hour, but it was 1 hour and 1 minute. But still hell of a good pace, and the weather was tremendous last night. Nice cloud cover. I didn't see the meteor shower last night. It was far too cloudy. There was supposed to be the Perseid. I didn't know. I'd only seen it written, so I didn't know how to say it.
Understood.
Did you happen to see any of those?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you were in bed at 8:30.
Pretty damn close.
Yeah. Were you racing Austin to bed?
I might have beat him last night.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, the Zone 1 revolution is on the way.
Man. Yeah, I may ride some Zone 1 today. I'm going to go Zone 0, maybe.
Don't get complacent on us.
Oh, I'm not. Definitely. I'm interested to see how, once I'm fully recovered, how my legs feel from all the combined efforts. I didn't give you my final numbers, by the way.
You did not.
So, rough numbers, 6 days, 170 miles, 17,400 feet of climbing.
Okay.
It was pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
No butt or saddle issues or anything like that? How does it make you feel about your rat preparations at this point?
I foolishly want to say that rat will be easy compared to that.
I don't think that's a foolish proclamation.
But I do realize that the hours are going to be longer.
I guess what I'm asking is, does it make you feel that much more confident about your rat attempt?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was getting at.
I'm more worried about logistics and stuff for rat.
We'll make that flow.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about me making the time to be ready, and, transportation and all that. Just literally the logistics, not during the ride so much, but just leading up to it, getting there, getting home, those kind of things, I'm super excited though. I'm not ready to be done. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying, but I'm ready to finally have a chance to cross it off of my to-do list. Hut to Hut was something that I've dreamed about for a decade plus, and it was bittersweet to finish it. I was happy that it was over and happy that I had done it, but I was also sad that it was over, if that makes any sense. And I'm sure I'll have similar emotions when and if I finish Race Across Texas, Ride Across Texas.
I think it's fair to say those will be completely different experiences.
Oh, yeah. But much like taking in all the views in Colorado, I am extremely excited about just the sightseeing across Texas. That's one of the major reasons I want to do it. It's because I want to be out in it and just take it all in and just ride my bike.
Sounds like good advice for everybody.
Yeah.
What should they do?
Ride it.
This bill legalizes sawed-off shark guns.